What's up, party people, and welcome back to another episode of Dance Specific Talks. I'm Teaser.
What's up, champ? Hope everybody doing good. I'm Coach Sebastian, and we are the duo of Dance Specific Talks. How you doing, Teaser?
I'm doing great. I have been astonished the last week about the
Astonished.
response of the reel that kind of have started to go a bit viral, which is
Yes.
basically you being angry.
Me ranting. Me ranting. Yeah.
Which was nice to it's been so nice to see people's response, and people have like DM me like, yo, this
Nice.
clip is like circling in the bachata scene now and stuff. So I'm like,
Good.
okay, this is now we're getting somewhere. Nice. Okay,
That's
okay,
awesome. That's
okay.
awesome. That's awesome.
So that's been really fun to follow. And obviously there's other stuff that have come up with the other podcasts as well that I'm like, okay, I'm very excited about this year and what we're
Yes.
going to talk about this year.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, how have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. For reference, for the clip teaser is referring to, there's we uploaded a reel or short rather. A reel, I don't even know what's what anymore. From when we were talking about just the how the lack of accountability that exists in the Afro-Latin dance world. I think in the dance world in general, I'm not even going to pinpoint the Afro-Latin. I think it's the
Hmm.
same shit in hip hop. It's the same in probably ballet. It's probably exactly the same thing. It's just a lot of people are misusing their powers to get to where they want to get, and a lot of women are falling victim to that. And because of the churn, which is just like the amount of new people that come into the Afro Latin dancing, it's hard for them to navigate, right? Because we don't talk about it. You can just be quiet for a, like, take this guy for example, that have now his dance partner went out and spoke about the 48 women have abused, or have said out loud that he has sexually abused them, right? Mentally or physically. And then now he just don't respond. He's just quiet because he knows that in 6 months he's going
Hmm.
to be gone, and then there's going to be a whole new scene of people because bachata and salsa is growing so fast that they're gonna forget, or they're not gonna know, and their life is good.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but
exactly.
yeah.
And
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the clip teaser is referring to. But me overall, I'm good.
yeah,
Overall, I'm
well,
great.
it is interesting because these topics is something that I feel almost tired talking about because we have been through them, like when the Me Too came out, like there was the whole dance thing as
Yeah.
well, and we see it across the board. Like we have just as an example, we have people with that are hip hop pioneers within the Scandinavian dance community that like have been authorities of schools where people are living in the middle of the forest
Yeah.
and basically been just allegations after allegations of them misusing their power. We have organizers that get caught on tape or in court and
In
still
court,
manage
even
to
I had no idea
somehow
about that.
in
Yeah.
court, like for example, we have one now that actually like at a Kizomba party, a rape actually happened, and the guy got convicted, and he's connected to a festival, and the festival just kind of went out and said, "Well, this person is not working with us anymore," and he was not a part of the official staff. And now this event has 10 times more event across the world than it had last year when the conviction happened. And the same thing with another Kizomba thing that happened where the guy was filming like a gangbang in a car, and people were like trying to boycott this event, trying to boycott this artist. but it doesn't matter. Like the event is still running, and it has gone on for more and more years. And I know people are like, "Oh, but give us names and do this." No, we don't have to give names because it's in across in all dance scenes. This is happening. It's not a nitpicking about names and event names, this and that. It's a global problem in all dance scene. And like we see it now in hip hop music industry with with P. Diddy and all of these things coming out. It's not a unique thing. It's not a unique thing, but there is a lack of accountability and a lack of authorities from governmental standpoint having any insight in the dance scene.
Yeah,
We're underground. We're
yeah.
underground. There's no like municipality that is gonna get involved in what happens. There's
And
not.
especially because it's
Law enforcement.
international also. It's international.
Yeah.
You from Mexico, but you live in Eastern Europe, and now you travel to America and you do something in America, and then what? How are you gonna catch me? Like how are we gonna catch him, right? And the whole thing about
Yeah.
just yeah, it's sad. It's super sad, and I'm not sure where it is from just a purely legal standpoint, neither about because I have no problems dropping names. I have no problems dropping names at all. All of them can burn for all I care. But I don't know what one the legal frameworks are around that, like actually speaking about something, and two, especially when people are not convicted, because there are the. I'm not defending nobody. I'm not defending anything, but there are circumstances that I know have happened where it is a lie, right? And then how do you navigate around that? But those, I mean, the exceptions makes the rules, and what I referred to in this case was obviously an exception,
Yeah.
because the majority of the time it is not exceptions, right? The majority of the time
No.
it's just men in our scene in particularly acting like fucking assholes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the response from a lot of other men when you say those things is always, okay, but where's the proof? And this and that. It's never, ever, first of all, let's believe her. And I can tell you from a female standpoint, there's no women that wants to have a reputation of being raped.
Yeah,
It's like the worst you can. It's like it's like somebody coming out of jail, men now talking. How many wants to admit that they've been sexually harassed by other inmates? You
yeah, of
just don't
course.
want to do that. It's
Yeah,
still
yes.
taboo. It's super embarrassing. You feel stupid because now people are gonna think it's your fault because
Yeah.
the way you dressed or because what you did and because you were dancing with this guy because you actually knew it or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I think
it,
it's the. I think it's
it
this is the. I think this is the. It's almost like the. Yeah, it's so hard to navigate around it. So hard to navigate around it.
Yeah, and it's just sad that it always needs to start with defending and then maybe possibly if 48 women comes out about the same guy, maybe he starts to have more of a
Maybe,
of a reputation
big fucking maybe.
and then what? And then what? You're still gonna go to the festivals, you're still gonna hire the guy. Like it is exhausting because it doesn't seem to like women's lives don't matter. Like it
It,
just seems like we're we
I
have
think
we have
it's
decided
the. I
that.
think it's the same effect. It's almost like the Michael Jackson. I call it the Michael Jackson syndrome, unfortunately, or the
Mm.
Michael Jackson's trial syndrome. So because we have seen so many famous artists, or like in the Michael. So how can I say first this? So because we have seen so many people getting convicted uh, for people that have posed as mentors for young children or for young adults have later it have later come out or came out that they have been like sexually abusing them, all of that things, right? What do we think it was true with Michael Jackson or not? Like that's the case, right? So now if we seen somebody who is taking a position towards children, like myself, for example, like I'm spending a lot of time with children, spending a lot of just open, very just like doing my absolute best to mentor and support the younger generation, right? As a result of that, I've had people telling me it's like, oh, like this doesn't look good. This child is sitting in your lap, and I understand where it comes from, but it is because you have been brainwashed thinking that every man that has an invested interest in making a younger generation go become better, you look at it from you are sexualizing it. Did that make sense?
Mm.
So it's kind of the same thing here that we've heard so many times of women trying to raise their voice, and then it end up them or being fake, or they've been labeled as fake, or there's like, oh yeah, but so I think it's the same effect that we've seen it happen on social media, and then we believe it's real life. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
because I can feel, yeah, I think that is what's happening. I think that's why a lot of people are just like, okay, but what was she wearing? It's like that's a stupid example, but it's like, yeah, but she know about it, right? Even that doesn't defend it, but I believe it comes from that like angle of like we've been so programmed of like
Mm.
seeing or hearing people that are quote faking it, or
Mm.
at least not getting. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a super complex problem.
It
I'm not sure.
is.
But
And
and it
it's
shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like I obviously stand on the side of women or like what the fuck are we doing? Like
it it's funny because like I'm watching this Love is Blind, which is yeah, just reality TV, but where they get to know each other across a wall. So they don't see each other, and if you fall in love, you fall in love. And it was so funny because this girl who asks, I think that she figured out that the man she's dating is white, and she's white herself, and then she says to him, so what's your take on Black Lives Matter? And his answer is just, well, I kind of just didn't get involved. And like you would think like, but that's like what is it like you don't what's your take on Lives Matter? Like it should not be that hard to say yes, Black Lives Matter,
yeah.
right? You know what I mean? It's not, oh no, but I just haven't got into it. What is it that you don't have to get into it?
But
Like you just need to understand basic human rights or
But don't you think it's the same thing
what
there
it
that for you and me, Black Lives Matter is like it's the obvious thing. It's like yes, Black lives do matters. Versus in America, it's a standpoint. You're taking a stand. It's a political standpoint. You are right. You are not left. You are far. You know what I mean? It's like I believe there is so earlier like you're left or right or whatever is happening over there. There are so many different layers to it. So the answer is
Mm,
not. It's the same thing when people are talking about uh, like here I'm African, but I'm not black. Like I've heard that.
mm,
I've heard that I'm not black, but I'm African. So it's like, okay, but I'm black. It's like, well, I mean, what are we talking about? We're referring to my color of my skin, like strictly, or are we talking about identity? Because those are two different
mm,
things, right? And I believe it's the same thing there. It's like, okay, but are we talking about the actual fact that yes, black people's lives do matters, or are we talking about if I support a movement that have later came out to be uh,
mm,
corrupt or whatever the case may be. It's like,
mm.
okay, just so we know what we're talking about, right? And it's similar here.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing here. And because what we're referring to again, guys, what we're talking about is that we did a post where we had a conversation that was recorded, another podcast episode where we're talking about just the lack of accountability in the Afro Latin dancing. And what ends up happening is that it got a lot of spread, a lot of people were supporting, but then there's also people in the comments saying, it's like, oh, but speak the names, do this. They're like, you're cowards. It's like, well, guys, like, I don't have to talk about this. I have a lot of other. This is not my niche, right? Like me and Tisa don't have to talk about this. We both run businesses, multiple businesses, both of us. They're like, but this is a problem. And then instead
Mm,
of adding to like, oh wow, like let's support this cause again straight away, there are people that's like, but the male counterpart needs to speak up, or our male allies needs to speak up. It's like, yeah, that's true. But again, it comes down to accountability.
mm.
I believe
And
it comes down to
and
accountability.
everyone is accountable. Everyone is accountable. The guests, the organizers, the colleagues, the everyone that has ever put money in the direction of of these people are accountable. And that's why it's so hard. Like I cannot tell you how many times I've also been like, oh, I really want to go to this party, but I know that this predator is booked there. So I'm not gonna go. It's just I'm not gonna judge. nobody, but that's the least that I can do for what I've heard that he has done to women. It's just to not go to his party. It's
Yeah.
to not take a booking at his event. I have done that many times where I have stopped teaching at dance school because of what has come up and not taking bookings on events and been in the same city as the best party in Paris and
Yeah.
still not gone because it's just because I can't. Because if I do that, I then allow my brand allows that,
Yeah.
right? And it comes back to like personal experiences. Like I had the vice president of my first hip hop crew used girls in my own crew that started in the crew because I was the female face of it. I was
Yeah.
one of the females. Boom, are the face of this crew. So now I have to live with it for the rest of my life. That these late like girls started dancing when they were like 8 years old, just to kind of get to the only crew that was in the city when they're 15, and then boom, he's right there,
Yeah.
inviting them over, taking the virginity and using them
Fuck me.
sexually because they're bullied in school. I have to live with that.
Mm.
I'm not gonna do that again. Like I have already gone through that whole phase, and this is just the same thing on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
It does not matter. It could be on a village scale, it can be on a city scale, it can be on a country, or it can be international. You have to sleep with it. You sleep with it. You need to know if you go to bed to know if I get a daughter, could I bring her to Kizomba one day?
You
That's
know?
my, I have a daughter. You know what I mean? Like I need to be able to know where can I bring her that she will be safe.
Yeah.
And if I don't create that reality
Yeah.
or navigate in this world, then I will never be able to say, this gave mommy so much joy, you should do the same. But instead, I have to tell her, this gave mommy so much joy. However, it's not safe for you to be here.
Yeah.
What? What are we talking about? This is dancing. It's supposed to be life force. What? Like, yeah. So everyone is accountable. We do not need to drop names. You can ask in your own community if you're willing to listen to what women have to say. There's a lot of women that has a lot to say. It's
Where?
simple.
Where are they? Because I think that's the thing. Like, as me personally, I don't see a lot of people talk, a lot of women talking. And it might also
Mm,
be, and I'm not saying people are not, I'm just saying I don't see it. So,
no,
is there online communities where women get together and share this?
absolutely.
There's
There
one.
are there
Yeah.
there are groups
Yeah.
where women go in and share and warn each other.
Good.
They have now started to become we have now started to see, at least in the Kizomba scene, all female festivals, just to like exit out the problem. And we basically have a world of women. For example, it's one festival, only women. And
Like, men are
it's to
not
create
allowed to come.
yeah,
They're not
basically.
allowed. They're not let in.
No,
Interesting.
it's just women. And I'm not saying that that is because we don't want festivals with both. It just means that at one point you just want to be able to go to at least one festival a year where you can completely relax, do whatever you want, wear whatever you want, and be in safe spaces where you can talk and you're being heard.
Mm.
And on regular festivals, that is just not normally the case. Like female teachers don't even have a microphone. So, so like, you know what I mean? So shout out to Gattaca, actually, she posted about this the other day. Um, where we just see consequences of what's happening. But yeah, there are online communities, and I think that you just have to ask women. You just have to dare to ask
Yeah.
women because maybe they won't tell you because we have been shown so many times that it doesn't matter because nobody's listening. But if you ask them, hey, if you ask a room of ladies in any festival, hey, have you ever felt unsafe? Have anyone like tried to make moves on you that you weren't like inviting, then majority of women will have said that they've had that experience, but nobody's asking.
Yeah.
So you don't hear about it.
The I've been in that must suck, right? And I think that I think a lot of women are I think it's harder for women to go through that because there is a fear of being physically overpowered, right? And I'm saying this because to make my point that as somebody who's been a dancer for 16 years, been modeling professionally, internationally, danced professionally, internationally, like what I've encountered women do towards me so many times, so many times, that if this was the other way around, that I did that, I would go to jail, right? Or like I feel that I would have deserved to go to jail because I'm definitely crossing a line, right? Everything from grabbing me in between my legs to just like putting their hands on my stomach to my chest and like, oh, so much muscles, or slapping my ass. And it's like, or just saying things that are, quote, inappropriate, right? Now I laugh it off because I'm almost 2 meters tall and it would be, there needs to be 20 of you to do anything physical harm towards me, right? But that's the only thing. That's the only difference,
Mm.
right? And I'm not saying, oh, of course, this is obviously not to downplay what have happened to anyone else, obviously not. But I find it's interesting because that line is a very gray line. And I've spoke to a girl back in a friend of mine back in Barcelona now when we were in Spain, and we spoke about just this thing. And she goes, "Well, girls here they allow international artists to do one thing to them on the dance floor, and then when their local guy is doing the same move to them, then now we're gonna cancel him, and he becomes a target. But if it's an international dancer doing it to him, then all good." And that's a very risky, that's a super gray zone, and it must be so hard to
Mm.
navigate. But it is a problem because of a lack of accountability, right? And I'm not only referring to the lack of accountability from men to women or women to men, but also from women to women. It's like, but yo, like we don't do that here. It's like we don't dance with him. Why? Like he shouldn't be here. So I believe like a boycott. I strongly believe. And again, like if it has happened and I'm not aware of it, then so be it.
Mm.
But I think if women truly got together and say, we don't come if you book him, right? If me as
Mm.
an organizer, for example, if I organized an event and I get a handwritten letter or just a message on fucking Instagram saying it's like, hey, we are 50 women that want to come to this festival, but because you booked him, we are not coming. Like that would raise my hand. That I was like, wait, what is happening? That
Mm.
he's a real thing. Not someone told me, but I don't think that exists to the extent that it should, considering how big of a problem it is.
Yeah.
Which is super sad. And I think the disempowerment of women have done a tremendous job of just again disempowering you, because
Mm.
it's what we talked about in this podcast. It's like, why did that post become like, why did it get shared and had a gazillion views? It's like, it's just because I talk about it. But why do you listen to me? Why
Mm.
does my more voice matter here? Women, you need to get together. And I'm not saying that you are not, but then at least organize it even more.
Yeah, I do think, to be honest, the main reason that this clip got shared is because it is a man
But it's
talking
insane.
about it.
Yeah. It's equally as insane. It's
But
equally
that's
as
how
insane.
little men
Yeah, right.
do it, you know? So, I mean, women, again, I see posts all the time about these things from women,
Yeah, and but that's my
but
point, right? Like I don't.
yeah,
This is why like
yeah,
I'm not making a statement. I'm more asking a question
no,
or trying to understand the situation because I don't see that. I don't get tagged in that.
no. And so I like it. I mean,
I
again, if
love
people
it.
want us
I'm glad.
to talk more to talk more about it, and especially to hear that like it's not just women that are upset about it, but there are men
No.
like you that are
Yeah.
like, what are we
The
doing, you
fuck? My
know?
mom has danced. My sister is dancing. My cousins are
Yeah,
dancing. What the fuck are we doing?
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so funny enough, a few years ago, I interviewed a couple in the States, and a Kizomba couple. They have their own festival as well,
Yeah.
and they said that they have like they've created a group on Facebook with a list of European dance events we should watch out for because of the organizers, and that's
Good.
insane to me that you have to like warn American citizens to
Yeah.
which European events that has like predatorial people in it that where you shouldn't go, where they cannot recommend this event
Yeah.
or this organizer because they cannot guarantee your safety. Like it's crazy that it exists, but I'm gonna see if I can like get a hold of them again and see what
I
happened during the last
we're gonna
years.
reach out, guys. We're gonna reach out to the dance partner. Her name is Sibel, ne? Sibel, un cosa así, no, something like that. I forgot her
Mm,
name. It slips my mind
mm,
right now. From Eastern Europe, I believe, do ballerina, mixing it up with bachata. And her
no.
dance partner is the guy that was accused, allegedly, for sexually assaulted 48 women, right? So we're definitely gonna have her to
Mm.
raise her voice. So we're
Yeah,
gonna see if I
because
can,
again,
I'm gonna see if we can invite her.
she has posted. Yeah, she has posted about it. But I wonder how many people that are continuously asking her about it.
Yeah,
You know, like there's a lot of people that show sympathy, but I would love to get a conversation with her just to hear her story out. Because
yeah.
where else? We don't have radio channels. You know what I mean? Like
We have dance
where,
specific.
who else?
But we do have dance specific talks, though. We do
Right?
have dance specific
So
talks, though.
let's get into it then. Let's get into
Let's
it.
invite her. Well, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on from this. No, we can talk about this for hours. What else is happening, T? So you have a. So guys, we promise you that we promise you. I can speak for both of me and Teaser, I believe. We promise you that we are not going to shy away from sensitive topics, and especially things that are quote taboo and things that are fucking wrong. Like I have no problems talking about it, and I'm just gonna go do a quick little conversation with ChatGPT, so I understand what I can say and cannot say without the risk of getting sued. And even if it is, then so be it. Things needs to be said. Things needs to be
Yes.
said.
Yes.
'Cause I
Yes.
can name
And
drop.
the best thing about
I can go on a long name drop. You can do hold this track.
well, sure. Um, but yeah, again, it's about what we can do about it. I mean, I have students now reaching out to me wondering if I can take this up on class, and I'm like, oh my God, so depressing to be able to waste class time on this.
Yeah.
However, I might do like a meetup outside of my classes just to be like, yo, okay, I understand you guys are new.
Mhm.
Welcome to this snake nest. We I have like actively been trying to make more women talk with each other, especially on the social dancing floor, because it's the only way to get warned. You have
Yeah.
no idea what you're walking into, especially if you're new. But
Mhm.
if you have five people from your course that you're taking in lady styling that you can hang out with, then you at least could get a heads up. And that's something,
Yeah.
you know?
That's a
It's at
great
least it's
start.
something.
That's a great start. That's what it is.
You can only kind of control what's in the nearby. So you can't change the world, but you can make things safer and better for the people around you.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what we're here for, solutions as well.
Solutions only. Tell us
Mm.
about your up and coming camp teaser. What's happening? What are we doing?
Well, so I have the Lady Styling Camp starting 6th of March. I'm so excited because the videos from the last video shoots are soon dropping and it's fire. So I'm very, very excited and happy about that. And I have my own Move That Soul event coming up. I'm so
Nice.
excited. It's already sold out. I have 30
Really?
people that are gonna come, and basically, I'm gonna hold an experiment between movement, improv, and storytelling with the
Ooh.
game. So we are going to play a lot of different games,
Yeah.
including cards from both the Ask and the Move pile from Move That Soul, but also where you have to basically improvise storytelling through words, through improv, and through movement on the spot. And that is something I am so looking forward to. I think it's time to just do something new, switch it up a little bit, and
Nice.
I'm very excited to get a pilot run. Thanks to also my friend Sachi, who's working at the Danse Ateliers in Rotterdam, which is a theater that gives spaces to people like me that are from the community and yeah, that don't have a budget to rent a whole theater on my own.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom. So it's going to
Yeah,
be in
so
Rotterdam, is
that's
it?
yes, Rotterdam, the 2nd of March.
Shout out to
Again,
Rotterdam.
unfortunately, no tickets left, but I will for sure do something more with it and see if I can make a little, I don't know, like a little tour date out of it.
Nice.
Because I do think that this concept is going to be hilarious to try out and really expanding your creative mind when it comes to how you express and how you tell stories with your
Yeah.
body.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
That's beautiful. A lot of fun things happening.
Mm.
A lot of fun things happening.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm also planning on doing my first online workshop. And I am gonna invite people who wants to learn how to choreograph. I do
Ooh.
think that it would have been lovely when I started choreographing if somebody would have helped me.
Yeah.
And to be a dance teacher is such a lonely job. Sometimes you maybe just want to do a video with your friends, or you actually want to teach a choreo that you have in your mind, but like, how do you start creating it? If
Hmm.
you want to do a performance or a video shoot, what differences does it make? What do you need to think about when you plan that? I think anyone can make a video. Anyone
Yeah.
can make a dance video.
I think it's very well said what you're
So
saying.
I want to help out with that and give some really nice, good tips and tricks and just like an easy blueprint on where to start.
That's awesome.
So if anyone is interested, comment below and I will send you some more info about
That
that.
is amazing. That's awesome.
Boom.
Look at you, teaser out there doing it. On our end over here on the
Yeah.
on the
The island
islands.
life,
On the
what
islands.
happens?
Judith is landing in about an hour and a half. So straight after this, I'm having lunch and then I'll go straight to meet up
We're
Judith
talking Judith
from Bachata Central.
Sensual.
Judith Cordero Pereiro
Yes.
from Bachata Central, the creator of the Bachata Central movement. She is coming to Cape Verde too. We're gonna have 5 days together down here, just location scout and start planning our up and coming dance camp slash retreat. That's happening. That's gonna be super nice. So in 2026, guys,
Love.
we were still while listening. 2026, there is a. I'm not sure what we're gonna call it, but probably be fit and sensual because that's what we started with, no? Me and her together.
Yeah.
So we'll probably reuse that name, I'm assuming, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So dope. So dope. Judith's such a legend, man. Like
Yeah,
she's been on hardworking mode for so many years.
yeah,
It's
it's insane.
insane.
Literally
It's insane.
insane. Literally insane. Literally insane. Yeah, but so
Shout
that's
out,
basically
Judith.
it. Shout out to Chicken. Shout out to Chicken Little, as I call her. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward. Looking forward. Is it time to move that soul?
I think it is
Is it
time to
time
move
to
that
move that
soul.
soul? Move that soul.
Hmm.
All right, guys, if you don't know what Move That Soul is, every week me and Teaser we drop these podcasts, and every by the end of it all, we play Move That Soul. Move That Soul is a card game. It's the first card game ever done for dancers that Teaser have actually founded. And I forgot to tell you, yo, we played this game. We played Move That Soul with non-dancers on David's birthday, and it was awesome. And I got so into it that I even forgot to pick up my phone, so I didn't record anything. I
Oh
apologize. I'm
no.
sorry, but
But
we were
you
people
got the
in
memories.
there in our later 30s, young 20s, and my cousin who is 9 was also with us. So yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
so
amazing.
instead of so we said so like for example we just so like one of the questions is like if you could have a dance skill of another dancer, which would it be and why? So we just changed it. We said like if you would have a life skill from another person, what would it be and why?
Hmm.
That's so nice,
Yeah.
such a nice moment.
I love that. I love that. Like that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Like
Yeah,
the box is a passion project, guys. Like that, we're not earning any money on this box. It has already been produced. There's just a limited edition of copies out there. I'm planning on making new editions in other type of shapes and forms, but it is these memories that can last a lifetime that you can have with, again, with your friends, with your family, with people you just met, with your dance students.
Yeah,
Like it's really just good vibes. Like
really just good vibes. That's
it's just
it.
good vibes.
So
Let me
Tuesday,
ask you a question.
take it away.
Reflect on the role of receiving feedback, Sebastian. How is your relationship with criticism?
I'm pretty good with taking
Mm.
criticism. I'm pretty good with taking criticism. I might not have been in the past. I might not have been in the past, but like if you run your own company and you are as outspoken as I am, and you share your voice, your opinions on things, then you are going to receive a lot of criticism and feedback, and especially
Mm.
if you are not scared of being the first. And when I say being the first, I obviously refer to like being the first training festival for Afro-Latin dancers, or just running an entire company that is training specifically for dancers, or moving to Cape Verde and doing all the things that we're doing over here. So yeah, I feel I have a pretty good relationship with feedback and criticism, and because I do know that I come from a place of love. So I know that if I say something, even if it might be like a quote attack on someone else, in this case, like these fucking predators that are out there, it's like, yeah, but I'm not doing it to shit on them. I'm doing it because I care about the victims and the future victims. That's my focus, right? It doesn't come from a place
Yeah.
of like, oh, I'm gonna destroy his dance career. It's like, no, I want to save others. That's the point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but then at the same time, I also believe there is a space where there is a fear of, or has been rather in the past at least, fear of not being understood. I think that can also be it's very tough to not be understood, right? And especially when you're talking about sensitive subjects like what we are talking about these in this episode, for example. Like you want to be understood, right? And for example, when I say like, oh, women need to be more verbal and get together, right? Like that is something I feel, because how have I not seen it? It's like, what is happening? Like I am on the same scene, but I have not seen it. I have not seen a group of women get together and talk openly about it, or ever been invited to a discussion. It does not mean that women have not done it. I'm just saying that I haven't seen it, right? So, and
Oh,
and just the fact that I feel I have to express that is obviously because I want people to understand my, or it might be that I had, it's not, I wouldn't call it a fear, but it's just like a want of being understood.
yes.
That makes sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Boom. That's my answer.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh, thank you.
Here
Thank you so
comes
much.
here comes another ask card, and it says, when have you faced an unexpected and surprising situation on the dance floor? That's a great question.
Oh, um, I mean, accidents happen, right? Like it happens it can happen to physical accidents, and it can also be like clothings that are ripped apart or bras that it suddenly opens, or like things can happen. We're doing something very physical. I remember coming back from Mexico 2013. And I was so ashamed when I was in Mexico because I was this dancer who couldn't follow anything. Everyone
Okay.
wanted to dance with me because there was dancing everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, oh my God, like I am a fraud. Like I'm a dancer who does dancing for a living, but I can't follow these people that are just regular people that wants to dance. So I started going to the only salsa place I knew at that time, which was Oceanen, Stigbergstorget, Göteborg. And I just had to start at square one and be that beginner that like gets only one dance, right? Out of pity, because they're like, what is she wearing? Like she's wearing sneakers. Nice. Okay, is she like some kind of hip hop girl? Yeah, I felt always a little bit awkward, but I was determined to learn. salsa.
Nice.
And I just remember this guy that was so excited, like a little bit of an older man that was so excited and he wanted to do all these tricks, but then he did like a dip with his head. And because he had locked my arm above him, I'm now hovering over him. And he just gets up with his bald head first and he knocks the shit out of me. Like he knocked me out almost. Like I flew backwards and he's like obviously super sorry. And I'm just thinking like, I probably did something wrong, you know, but it was one of those moments which was like so unexpected. Like his head just came up and like basically like an uppercut. I got an uppercut
Oof.
on the dance
Yeah.
floor by a bald head.
Damn.
And so yeah, I mean that has happened another time in my hip hop year in Copenhagen. I had an Argentinian amazing b-boy in front of me on a breaking class, and basically we're gonna do like a dolphin sort of type of move, and I was right behind him, and basically he kicked me in my face, and you could see the print of his shoe sole in my face, like a tattoo that just swelled up. Um, Stuff like that. I mean, it happens. It just
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens.
I remember one of the
Um,
first time I'm out social dancing bachata, and I've been already dancing hip hop for like a decade at that time. And it's just like, oh my God, I gotta hug these girls all of a sudden. It's like I'm obviously excited, but it's like you're just trying to be super respectful in the beginning, right? And I'm dancing, doing my best, and I spin her, and my hand is just placed, and just like I just grab both of her both of her, both of her, well, or like right across her chest, and I just stop the dance. I just look at her, I'm like, I am so sorry. I just stopped dancing.
like,
Like I'm not gonna pretend that that did not happen. It's like I am so sorry that happened. And she's like, "Don't worry about
yeah,
it." And she keeps dancing. And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. Like that was not supposed to happen."
like
She's
I
like,
need,
I
need to
know.
leave.
Shut up and dance." It's like, "Alright, okay, cool. One, two, three, hips." Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it
happens.
happens
Yeah,
all the time. It's just
yeah,
very easy to know if it was accidental or not.
yeah,
Like it is, you know, if it was an accident
yeah,
or
yeah.
not. And, yeah,
Has
yeah.
it
But
ever
it
happened?
happens.
Has it
It's
ever happened to you that somebody does something and it's like, that was not an accident? It's like,
yeah.
yeah,
I move hands. Like sometimes they grip like too high up on the rib cage, and I just place my hand and I just take it down, and they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize." And if it happens again, I just stop the dance, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, sorry,"
you
but
stop the dance and walk away.
yeah, I'm just like, "Yeah, hey,
Nah.
man, thank you so much. Bye."
Yeah,
But like if I notice that like you didn't, but most people,
yeah,
thankfully, I don't know if they're a little bit intimidated by being told off, but most people are super obviously super sorry, or they actually did not realize like
yeah,
it happens more so many more times that it is an accident.
yeah,
But if you start feeling like my feedback didn't go through, or you actually got a little bit annoyed that I corrected you, then
mm,
it's over. Like,
yeah.
what are we? Yeah.
What are we doing?
But yeah, I mean, but even I mean, I have like swung my hand too low, doing a spin, touching people's private parts too.
Touch the
Like, I'm not
dick.
just like,
You just touch a dick on the
yeah,
dance floor.
exactly. Like, and I'm like, so sorry,
Yeah,
so sorry. I mean, it happens. It
yeah, yeah, yeah.
happens. It's
Oh,
just,
of course, of course, of course.
yeah.
But I think even
Um,
that, right? I think that should be explained. That should be explained. How do you stop a dance mid dance and just like, yo, I'm not comfortable? It's like no.
mm,
And it's like even as a man, it's like again, I'm comfortable because I'm not scared, right? I'm comfortable in
mm,
this situation because what is she gonna do? Like you better have a bazooka to take me down, but you don't have it. But you know what I mean? It's like you unless you have a gun, I'm really not scared of you, right?
yeah.
And especially on the dance floor. But have I felt uncomfortable? It's like fuck yeah. Yeah, of
Mm,
course. And it's like I brush it off. You brush it off as a man because you're like, yeah, well, whatever. They're like, yeah, my life continues, right?
yeah.
And it's like,
which is shouldn't also be okay, right? Like
No, of
we
course
if
it's
we're gonna
not. Of
talk
course it's
about
not. Of course it's not. But what? Like me, 2 meters tall, 90 kilos. Like what? What am I gonna do? Would you like? Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's what I'm trying
yeah,
to explain. Is like it happens to men. I'm not gonna say the same, but yeah, but it's different because we're men, and it's okay that
mm,
it's different because we are men and the roles are different. Like stop it.
yeah,
Nobody's gonna
yeah,
like. Oh, he put his hand on my she put her hand too close to my belt, had no man ever said, but he put his hand too close to my belt, has a lot of women
hmm,
said, and that is not okay, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's,
no,
it's so it's different, it's different, it just is, it
it
just is,
is,
yeah,
it
it
is,
just is. The
it
roles are
is,
not the
it is.
same, yeah.
The roles are not the same,
No,
and yeah.
very
Anyhow,
interesting, very
anyway,
interesting.
all that to say, we we have obviously now stumbled across a subject that seemed to interest a lot of people. If you guys have any other subjects, again, we don't shy away from. We can talk about anything. Like it might not be what you expect or what you want to hear, but we definitely can like talk and discuss anything. There's nothing that is like off the charts, but we are concerned about like name dropping because of we don't want to get sued or whatever. But we're happily talking about everything.
I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah.
I'll look into what are the actual
And
rules.
and if you like this podcast, please like subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would like help immensely. We are about 700 something subscribers there now, which is amazing. We would love to get
Amazing.
up to 1,000 before the year has ended,
Fuck yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And we want to hear more. So like send your this episode to someone that you think could be interested and let us know
Let us know.
what
Let
would
us
be
know.
interesting. What is it that you don't dare to talk about on your social media that you
Yes.
want us to talk about? Shooting
That's a
us in the
great
foot now.
that's a great
Yeah.
catchline. All right, Familia, that's it. Talk to you guys very soon.
Don't forget to click subscribe, comment below, and give us a rating or review. We have a Facebook page, YouTube page, and we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and all the other podcast platforms. We also have an Instagram, so don't forget to tag us in your favorite episode and share it with the world because we read all of it.